Hello, welcome to IGTV. I'm Angeline Ong, and this is your special look ahead to the 8th of February, Thursday. Now, we kick off with China because there's so much in the way of moon music coming out of there. Many investors looking out for these support packages that have been anticipated for some time. We've got inflation numbers out of there and producer price numbers as well. Just showing you the US dollar versus the yuan. This is the daily view because we're getting it to a really critical point there, potential breakout above that 100-day moving average. And if it does that, perhaps it might move towards the 200-day moving average. Now, this cross has been largely supported by many of the comments coming out from China, and also the central bank persistently supporting the yuan. But what will be key is what type of policy measures will be used to support the Chinese economy. We've seen this many times now, and each time the markets have been disappointed. We had that great anticipation of the great reopening after COVID, which didn't materialize. So it remains to be seen what sort of policies we put in place and how the market might react. Meanwhile, further along the session, we have US initial jobless claims and wholesale inventories as well. This will largely depend on the commentary we get out of comments from some speakers out this week, including Bowman. The anticipation is that many speakers with regards to the Fed's timing of the rate cut will be using the stance that it has to be data reliant. Also, elsewhere in the diary, we've got AstraZeneca out with full year numbers, Unilever as well, and British American Tobacco. Let's have a look at AstraZeneca's stock because this is a very interesting stock. Plenty of volatility there. This is the one-day chart for AstraZeneca. But perhaps what is more interesting is, let me show you Sanofi's chart, because Sanofi recently came out with its earnings, and the fourth quarter earnings disappointed, and this was largely due to a weaker dollar and a lot of generic competition. What's interesting about AstraZeneca's share price is it's been struggling to break above, even though it's had a bit of a breakout point there, above that 100-day moving average. It hasn't successfully done so recently in the last few sessions. If we see it break through that, then perhaps it might move further up towards the 100-day moving average. However, what it says about the effects of increasing competition, much like its peer Sanofi, which has been hit by generics, will also play a big part in where this stock goes. And finally, we've also got Siemens, Societe Generale. That's the big bank to look out for in terms of a week with UBS, and also with earnings out from NatWest, I believe, further on along the week. We also have ArcelorMittal with full year numbers, and Zurich Insurance as well. Let's have a look at Siemens for you, because Siemens is a really good bellwether of how the German economy is doing. Now, Siemens, in terms of its share price, has been tracking higher since around October. However, it has to be said, also been tracking the broader market. As we know, the DAX has done rather well. But if you look here, we've seen this momentum, and there's been quite a bit of volume there. We've seen this momentum grind higher and then falter at that point, which is a very round number, and markets like round numbers. And it seems like it's that 17,000 mark that seems to be the resistance level at the moment. As you can see here, it tried again in January, but failed to break through. So we're now at a pivotal point for Siemens. If we see it break through that figure, then perhaps, we're in breakout territory, and it could perhaps wind higher still. However, Siemens is also one to watch, because it is monitoring the situation in the Red Sea. The CEO and the heads of Siemens, I believe, said that so far they don't see a big impact on its supply chain from the crisis. But do bear in mind, watch out for any comments whatsoever that say that they are starting to see an impact, because as we know, in terms of manufacturing and big companies like Siemens, what happens in the supply chain, well, we tend to see the knock-on impact of that 3 to 6 months down the line. And from the US, we've got Kenvue, Philip Morris, and Under Armour out with quarterly earnings as well. So a really busy time for the earnings diary. Not huge ones to look out for, but still busy nonetheless. Look out for Siemens. Look out for the AstraZeneca as well, for any sort of market moving signs as to whether or not we could see further momentum on the upside or the downside, depending on what they say in terms of the pipeline and competition for AstraZeneca and Siemens in terms of supply chain comments. I'm Angeline Ong, and this is IGTV.